The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are speakers plus authors informing the audience. They do not reflect or represent views and opinions held by this podcaster. Due to the nature of broadcasting this podcast, it may contain a copyrighted entity of a person. This podcaster does not own any rights to this music and their content. This podcaster cannot be held accountable for any copyrighted content. This channel is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify, but not warrant, the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information. If there is a complaint about something, whether the content is being used incorrectly, please contact the podcaster directly before making a copyright claim. Any infringement was not done on purpose and will be rectified to all parties' satisfaction.
All my friends know the low rider. The low rider is a little higher.
Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back again to the next chapter of sports with the Audrie along with Francisco, and happy 2025 to everyone out there.
Yeah, it's great to be back here in 2025, a new episode, and also a new guest. Thank you, Audrey, for being here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And yeah, let's get it.
First things first, we just want to say happy 2025 for everybody out there. And I know it's been like a rocky year for everyone, or especially like for others like myself, having a great start to the year along with Audrey. I'm pretty sure she's been busy and like reffing and all that. So we will get into that more so in the episode. But yeah, how's your 2025 going so far?
My 2025 is going really well. I feel like it's really the year that I get to make it mine. I feel like the past 2 years haven't really been about me. I haven't really prioritized myself. And this year I am putting myself ahead of everyone. Like I am really going for all the goals that I wished of and dreamed of years ago, and finally just having like a really good start. I have a really good feeling about 2025. Yeah, I'm looking forward to all of it.
Yeah, and you say you're from Cali, right?
Yes, I am currently located in the Bay Area of California. I actually grew up in the Central Valley of California and moved out here for college and started my professional career here a year and a half ago.
I would have to say honestly that California has the best weather, unless I could be mistaken for like Arizona or any warmer places like in Texas and all that. But I really, really want to visit California so bad because if you guys know for a fact how the Chicago cold has been treating us, you don't want to know.
California really has it all, to be honest. It's why it's so expensive to live here. I will say that.
Francisco, anything related like with the Chicago cold that we've been having lately?
Oh yeah, our weather's crazy. Like I was saying before, it's 40-attic. Like some days it can be sunny, and then another day it's super cold that you can't go out. You have to like have two jackets on. But I also did want to ask, so like living in California, other days when it's super sunny where you can't go out, or like you have to like be a little bit cautious, or it's warm weather really good all the way.
Well, it kind of varies to be honest. It like currently right now, like during the winter, it is relatively cold, and California cold is definitely not the same as like
Mhm.
Chicago cold by any means. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like 30s and like 40s. That's cold to us. And then gosh, let me see. Like in the summertime and the wintertime, it tends to warm up. So like 80s, 90s, 100s, that's like California weather right there for sure.
Yeah, 30,
Francisco,
40s would be a dream.
Yeah.
Francisco, I think that we have to either go to California or we have to go to like these warmer places because let me tell you
Mhm.
guys, the Chicago cold. If you've been living in Chicago for like how we've been living here, you know our coldness has just been going year
Mhm.
after year, especially the polar vortex that we suffered back in 2019, if you remember.
I don't think I looked at the technical terms, but if I didn't have to go to school and it was like a snow day, like I'd just be chilling. But I don't even see if it's a polar vortex or whatever it's called. I just if I get an email saying no school, what snow day, oh I'm happy.
It's always I would have to say like it's always those snow days or like when they make it like I guess you could say like a regular snow day and be like, oh, I'm gonna miss class, or oh, I'm gonna miss school, or oh, I'm gonna miss work. Yeah, but over here in Chicago, if they're not gonna believe you any second unless you have like
Yeah.
documentation or anything like that. If you know what I'm talking about.
That's crazy. We've never had a snow day here.
Yeah, but my high school treated it the worst. Like it's supposed to be a snow day, but then they said that no, it's going to be a e-learning day where it's a snow day, but you also have to do your homework and have classes remotely. So that was like the worst. It took away what it's supposed to be a snow day.
I would hate to do
Yeah,
that.
it was
Like, if
weird.
it's a snow day, I'm sleeping in.
No.
I'm under the covers. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I
chilling.
did. That's what I did like during COVID. Like we had like classes remotely, but I didn't go to any of my classes. I don't think I did any of my homework either, and I still graduated.
It's always funny to me because it's like, okay, you have like a specific like snow day,
Mm.
or maybe like, and not even that. I think like whenever you have like these snow days, they have to add it to the calendar. So instead of like graduating, like let's say on January or like June 7th, it would be going all the way to like June 9th, June 10th. That's crazy though.
Oh no, I couldn't do that. No.
Mhm.
That's so crazy, I swear. We just want to say thank you so much for coming on this podcast for sure. I know this might be like kind of like relatively new, like for us, especially because we're in our 22nd episode. No, 21st. 21st episode, and we just want to make ourselves visual. We've been doing audio for like this past year that happened back in February last year, and we're just slowly building bit by bit. Are you a huge sports fan besides soccer?
Yes and no. I think that in some ways, and surprisingly enough, I typically just like keep up with a lot of women's sports, the NWSL, the WNBA, obviously, like that had a huge increase in viewership and subscriptions and everything, and it went up this year and it was awesome. And of course, I watched it all. Other than that, I just watch really like highlights of the NBA, highlights of MLS, highlights of football every now and then, baseball every now and then ish. But yeah, I'm not like a huge diehard fan for a lot of teams, which comes off as surprising to some people because they're like, you
Mhm.
work in sport, Audrey. Like, shouldn't you like have like a team that you just root for? And I'm like, yeah, but like not really. I recently got into F1 though. That's motorsport. So yeah, that's been really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know about motorsports or racing until I watched Turbo. Well, the movies that I think are classic, but the sport is pretty fun. Like I wanted to go to the NASCAR race in Chicago, but I didn't have the chance. But as someone from Cali, do you go for like LA Galaxy or LAFC or have you gone to one of the games or do you support any of those teams?
I actually used to work with the MLS San Jose Earthquakes. So I was with them for about 2 years, I want to say. I was an event ambassador for them, and that was kind of like my like part-time, one of my part-time jobs in college. And it was super fun. It was a good experience. I got to see a lot of obviously like San Jose Earthquake games. So I did see like a lot of LA Galaxy games whenever they would come and they'd visit. And then recently, this last year in 2024, the NWSL had an expansion team, Bay FC, which is the women's first team here in the Bay, and it was super awesome, super cool. Brandy Chastain is one of the founders, and she's awesome. Got to go to a lot of Bay FC games, and yeah, so a little bit of everything in terms of like PayPal Park and like San Jose Bay Area sports. Yeah, it's definitely one of the bigger highlights. Like living here in the Bay, there's like we have everything. We have the Warriors are down the street. The Niners are 15 minutes away from me. PayPal Park, San Jose Earthquakes, Bay FC, they're right down the street. So it's really surreal when you think about it. And obviously, like Giants and, now upcoming WNBA team, the Valkyries.
Oh,
That's
dang.
awesome.
Hey.
Yeah, so you guys have everything.
Yeah, literally. It's a huge hotspot for, any kind of professional sports, whether that's basketball, baseball, soccer, obviously. So yeah.
It's always those people that call it football. I don't know why, but
Uh,
it's yes, the term for it specifically, if I remember correctly, is association football. But like as we like to call it soccer and stuff, and most people call it football now, it's like how do you distinguish? Are you referring to like American football or are you referring to soccer in that aspect? So it's kind of like
Right.
there's like a huge confusion there, and maybe that's where the confusion comes from within. One of the things that I really liked from you, Audrey, is that you're a ref. And I say that with pure joy because refing, especially with the younger ones, can be a pain. And I can't even describe the pain, the pressure. Oh my God, like there's like so many things that I could say, but I'm not gonna mention here about things that have been said about referees, especially like youth games. So I know with you, it's like you do like high school and I think believe middle school girls, if I'm not mistaken, and
High school and club. Yeah.
high school and club. So what is it like to referee for like different age groups, like high school or club?
I mean, it's definitely interesting for sure. I think that it's fun, it's versatile. The cool thing about that is that every game is different. It's always going to be different. And one of the things that people don't really understand about the referee perspective and perhaps even like the player or coach's perspective is that you're never going to have a perfect game. And I think a lot of the times, whether it's the audience, parents, families, players themselves, coaches, I think they expect perfection out of referees, but we're not computers. We're not, technology that just gets you the right call every single time. No, like let's count how many times your players fall on the field. Let's count how many times your players make the wrong pass on the field or make the wrong touch or slip or fall. And then let's actually talk about like what it's like to be a referee in that space. And yeah, I can sit here and I can tell you that I've had thousands of games already in my life and I have yet to find the perfect game. I've had really good games, I've had really bad games. But it is really interesting to see how the level changes and just seeing also just like the players grow a lot of the times. Like I've been around refereeing for such a long time now. I'm in my 11th season ever and sixth out of high school now. So it's interesting to kind of see the players grow as, as they come like from, U12s, U11s, and now they're playing U17s. And you're like, wait, hold on. Like, I remember your style of play. And you're that player who was, 12 years old, taking the ball down the line the same way you are now, just like in a more evolved and advanced state. So it is really interesting to see like the different levels of soccer and how they transpire and how they change over, whether it's club or high school or how the teams change, how different players play on different teams for that matter. So yeah, it's really fun and cool to see and be around.
I can tell you for sure that as a ref myself, I can't even imagine the amount of stress that they would have to put in you in order to make the right call. Because I can tell you as of right now, like, I'm not a professional referee. I do know the sport very well and I know the rules, but you can't just expect every single person for you to say, oh, you made the bad call, or you should be doing your job and all that. Like, no, come on now. We're
Yeah.
adults. Some people are teenagers as well, they're kids, and they're still learning. So you have to give it some time. You have to give it that space. And I feel like especially with youth games, it just goes haywire completely.
I think in a lot of ways, like people just don't understand that referees are still people at the end of the day, right? Like, and that's the main reason why I make a lot of my reels and a lot of like my content in terms of refereeing because I want people to know that, yeah, I also take my job seriously, just as serious as your players do it, just as serious as you, the coach, do. I do too. I'm not here to, mess around. I'm not here just for the money. No, like, yes, all those things are a great benefit, but I'm here for the experience. I'm here to get some good exercise. I'm here to familiarize myself with, the youth talent that we have around the area. I'm here to be a representation of women in sport. I think that that's something also that some teams or parents or people just don't really think about. It's like, oh, okay, specifically in my case, I am a young female referee who is Mexican. So those are all three things that like put me out of the ordinary in terms of your typical referee, especially here in the Bay. There's not a whole lot of female referees to begin with, young officials, whether that's men or female or non-binary or however you identify. People don't understand the rarity that is somebody who possesses those things, right? Like if you are going to scream and yell and quite honestly emotionally and verbally abuse these referees, they're not going to want to come back. And I think it's so important for people to understand that whether it's players, coaches, parents, there is no room for disrespect and there's no room to make things personal with the referee ever. Like once it gets personal, I don't take that. Like you can say bad call, you can say this, you can say that, but once you say you're not doing a great job, or, you suck, ref. Like, okay, no, now you made it personal. Now, and at the end of the day, you complaining and consistently telling me I'm doing a bad job, that doesn't make me want to call more calls for you.
And like you said, it's a tough job. It's something you really have to persevere at. So what like kind of pathway in your life made you want to become a rep? Like I know it's not the typical job people apply to on Indeed or LinkedIn. What really made you want to become a rep?
Yeah, so actually, my grandfather, who unfortunately just passed away in July, he was a referee for a really long time. And he brought my dad into it in his like early 20s. And my dad did it for a really long time. He did it up to like the collegiate level. I would always see him come back from work and get ready to go to a game, and I would go out there with him, and my mom and I and my sister, we'd all be out there at the games going to go see my dad ref, and at halftime I'd go and I'd like run and give my dad a Gatorade. It would be like this cute moment. It was super awesome and I loved it. And so whenever I became old enough to get my USSF license, I think I was like 12 or 13, I immediately did it, did the test, passed everything. And then I started reffing at that age, U6s, U8s, literally just like chasing them around the field. It meant a lot to have like my dad's support and just know that there was kind of like a legacy kind of building there. So yeah, and there were like some things in the beginning where like my grandfather gave me, my first whistle and his flags and stuff. And it was just so nice to kind of have something that was already in the family and something that I could continue on in myself, but in my own way. Because now I was a young female referee, which, as I mentioned earlier, is so, so rare nowadays.
And like you said, it's your grandfather did it and then your dad did it and now you're doing it, but it's in different eras and different times. Like now you have a lot of more like the iPhones and a lot of Instagram, a lot of different things. And like you said, you're taking advantage of it and trying to spread awareness for more women to enter that space. You have your own platform, a lot of different things. So, well, like, is that really what got you into that? And have you seen the responses? Are people really liking what you're posting and motivating them to do what you do?
Social media has always been something that I've been really passionate about. And over the past 3 or 4 years, I want to say, it's granted me a lot of great opportunities. In college, I really wanted to pursue like being like a fitness influencer. I was like really heavily into the gym, and I currently am now. I was fortunate enough to land an ambassadorship with Celsius Life Fit Sports Energy Drink. Sorry, the energy drink.
Ah, dang.
Um, So I've been an ambassador with them for a few years now, and that was all, through Instagram, through TikTok, all the content creation that I was doing then. And even though I was reffing throughout all these years, I never really broadcasted it until December of 2023. And I was on my way to a game one day and I was just like, well, people know that I ref, but they don't really know like what the process is like. I'm just gonna film it. I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna see what happens, right? I filmed it, did the whole thing, and I remember sending a message to one of my friends saying, okay, I think the video's done, and this can either be really good, or this could be bad. Like it's either gonna like become viral or it's gonna flop. And I was scared because it definitely went viral. And I think it had like 89,000 something views on Instagram. And I was like, whoa, that's wild. So then I started doing more reels and stuff during that time. And luckily it was during high school season. So right now I'm getting about like, gosh, probably like 6 to 10 games a week um on top of like my regular full-time job. So yeah, so it's super easy to, I guess, like film those things. It's hard to sit down and edit and make them and create them and then post them. So that's kind of like where I'm lacking a lot right now because I don't have much time. But yeah, I think that's kind of like where I really saw like the pop, and I saw people kind of like a lot like a huge increase in followers. I gained about like 1,200 followers in a span of 2 or 3 months. So it was really cool. And I do ref like seasonally, I guess you could say. So high school season ends like right around like mid-February, and then playoffs go into like March, and then spring/club doesn't start until like May.
So really, time management is a really big thing. Like where you said you have like 6 games or so a week, and also your full-time job. So really, time management is a crucial thing to your schedule and how you're trying to manage everything.
Oh yeah, it's my days are long, they're crazy. They are
Mm.
packed with everything. I have to think about like the next day as soon as I get home from work the day before. Yesterday I had such a long day, woke up at 5, got to the gym by 5:30, came back, showered, ate, got ready for work. I went to work at 8, got out at 3, had a game at 4, a game at 6, got done at 7:30, and then by the time I was home again, it was 8 p.m. So, like, I really do have, 12, 14, 15-hour days by the time that I get home during the week. It is super, super tiring and exhausting. And I do have to prioritize a lot of like my sleep and a lot of my eating and know what I'm going to eat. And yeah, just super long days, a lot of time management for sure, for sure. But just thinking ahead, right? Like I look forward to a lot of my weekends because I'm just like, okay, I don't want to plan anything. Like I want them to be free. Like if that means I stay in bed all day, then I stay in bed all day. Like I don't care. Because I live such like a very busy and active life during the week.
I think it's interesting to see like how your day works out really well because I mean there are days that could go well, but then there's also days where it's gonna be like all crazy and all overwhelming and all that. And especially I was gonna say something. One anecdote I think is what how you say it. Una anécdota is how we like to call it. Is one game I was reffing and just it was so crazy that I didn't even manage to control the match at all. Like it was just like ongoing pressure. It was just and this was like from a travel team. I remember like helping coaching out on the travel team and all that here in Chicago, and it was just completely craziness everywhere. And with your referee career that you've done like these past like 11 years, have you ever refed a game where it was like all crazy, all wild and all that? And how were you able to, I guess you could say, survive that?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had my fair share of crazy and chaotic games for sure. They typically tend to be JV or varsity boys.
Oh yeah, boys, trust me, it's crazy.
And a lot of that really just comes from the demeanor first, for sure. The way that I referee boys is completely different than the way that I referee girls. It just is what it is, right? Me being a female myself, I have to be a little bit more mean because if I don't, they're definitely going to test that and take advantage of that. If not, then they'll probably try to flirt with me. That's happened plenty of times, which is strange.
Oh no.
Um, but I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah, no. But yeah, I've had my fair share of crazy chaotic games, and I think that a lot of that just comes from setting the tone. As soon as you step on the pitch, just letting them know like, hey, like I'm here to enforce the rules of the game and ensure that everybody is safe. I also like to communicate a lot on the field when I am reffing, saying no foul, easy, don't push each other, like get your hands down, play the ball situations. In that way, I always make sure that one, they hear me, and two, they also know that I'm looking for that. So that way they don't typically commit the foul or whatever that may be. And I think in a lot of ways, like that communication piece goes so far because that way you let them know, okay, I'm watching you. I know it's happening. I see it happening. Next time, that's a card. Or next time, it's a verbal warning, whatever it may be, the way that you want to manage the game. And a lot of that just depends on the way that they're treating each other as well. But yeah, I think it's really just about that. But ultimately you can only control so much as a referee and so much with your cards and whatever that may be, right? Like if players start fighting, you can't really do a whole lot, right? You can separate them and that's about it. Show them cards and get off the field kind of thing.
Going back a little bit on the referee abuse, like I've seen it and I've seen like videos of like, another, because I follow like another ref as well. And I think there was like this one ref and I think that you follow, his name is David Jerson, I think that's what's his name. I
Okay,
don't,
yeah.
I can't remember his name. I think his name is like David, where he's like, I think his profile says like refs like having love or something. Like, no, not
Oh,
having love.
ref needs love. Yeah, refs
Yeah, it
need
needs love. There you go. Yeah.
love him. He's awesome.
Yeah, that guy is spectacular. I really want to have him on. So if whenever he catch this episode, David, or I think that's his name, please, we want you here because we want to see like exactly like your experience as a ref as well. How do you have managed to have like, control over a game and all that? Because trust me, like me as a ref, I will say personally as a ref myself that I have ref games and all that, even though I'm not licensed. take that's from the travel team right there, so I have to blame them. But other than
Mm.
that, I would have to say that I know the rules very well, and I know that, but there's another thing about me that I'm very strict. If I call a foul and you don't like it, I don't care because I'm going to be on your tail no matter what. And you're going to respect me. If you don't respect me, get off the field then because I don't want you in the field giving me that attitude. And there has been certain cases where I would have to be on them every single time just so that way you have that strictness and you have that control over the match. And I think that's what I guess I don't know if you've encountered like any difficulty with that or how like your encounters with that.
Yeah, like I said, it's typically more with boys than it is with girls. Girls I get every now and then that are a little bit they are what they are, and I don't tolerate it, right? Like I said, once it becomes personal to me, I'm just like, dude, I'm not having that. Like literally I tell them like get off the field, get up. If they try to like flop in the box, oh my gosh, it's
Oh,
ridiculous
flop.
sometimes.
I know it.
I'm like, get up, come on, like, or I'll just tell them, I've been doing this longer than, you've probably been playing soccer. Like, let's not go there. Don't try to make me look stupid, right? Like, and I think that's something that I think I'm underestimated on sometimes, and that's why like that demeanor obviously has to be set from the very beginning. And it starts with the coaches. It starts with, the handshake. It starts with the, hey, I'm so and so, and I do this and whatever, and I'll be center official for today, all of those things. But yeah, in terms of like the disrespect factor, I don't like it. I will not tolerate it.
Like, how's your job as a referee ever transferred to like your social life or your life as a fan? Like, I know, like what, like as a broadcaster, like when I see games, I think like, oh, I would have broadcasted that better, or like he's doing a really good job. That's what I want to aspire to. So, has that ever transferred to your social life, like where you say, oh, I wouldn't have called that, or this isn't how you should have done
When I'm not in my referee boots.
it?
I definitely and say like I am like at a sports game or whatever that may be. I try to have an objective perspective in terms of like what is the crowd thinking? Why are they thinking that? But also still stepping into the referee space and in terms of like, well, at the end of the day, like they're people. They're doing their best. If you think that they're here not doing their best, then I don't know what to tell you, right? Like n nobody really wants to be a referee because everyone thinks you're the bad guy. For me in that space, like I try to defend the refs as much as I can in like from a fan perspective, right? Because they're not the ones scoring the goals, right? Like they're not the ones putting the ball behind them. They barely even touch the ball. Yeah, I typically side with the refs because I know they're there to do their job. We have applications. Like we're always looking for refs. Like if you want a ref, come join us, please. But a lot of people, I mean, they don't do it because they know how hard that is in terms of like you're essentially signing up to be verbally abused. If I'm being honest, like that's just the way it is.
Another question I also had was since the implementation of R in recent years, like we've seen it in a lot of different sports, like in football, baseball, soccer, a lot more. So, from a referee perspective, how have you seen that, and do you think it's kind of changed the game from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen it change, right? And even in like pros and big leagues and stuff like that, like you see the impact that it has. To an extent, yes, I think it's good. To another extent, I'm like, okay, this changing the game of soccer a little too much. Yeah, it is a good implementation of technology because people want referees to get the right call. There are certain things that you just simply cannot do with three people, three referees in the game. Like there is no way that I'm going to have this super vision to see whether the entire ball was over the line or whether 3 inches of it were off the line or whatever, right? Like, and I think that's where VAR comes into like really great use in terms of like seeing if the ball went over the line completely to call it a goal, or even in a crucial PK moment where, you're tied 1-1 and, and you're in the last, extra time and there is a PK happening, but because you as a referee, you're also just as in the game as the players are, I think it does get a little bit harder to make those like spot on decisions. So I think having the VAR is really important and it is crucial.
Right now you're covering high school and club. So, is the goal potentially covering also college, or would you like to cover like NWSL, WNBA? Is that the main goal?
WNBA?
Yeah, WNBA. Oh wait, I actually don't know. Would you also want to cover WNBA?
Wait, okay, wait. Your question is, sorry. You said
So right now,
WNBA, mine went somewhere
I
else.
was like,
uh,
WNBA, bro?
uh,
Like, what?
well, I don't know, maybe like at some point, but like I know right now, like you said, you're covering high school and club. Is the goal to maybe in the future cover college and then at one point professional like NWSL and maybe the WNBA?
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. I'm 23 years old, still consider myself really young, right? Yes, I'm in my 11th season of refereeing, but I think that there's a lot of opportunity out there for me in general, like in from a career standpoint. If I do, eventually ref college, which is a goal, and hopefully from college, level up and kind of just work my way up. I see myself as somebody who lives a very active lifestyle and really enjoys what they do. So keeping that about me or like as a side hustle, I guess you could say, like, yeah, I definitely want to see how far I can go. And if that opens up like bigger and better opportunities, I would definitely take them for sure.
Yeah, yeah, who knows? You might be on the cover of an NBA 2K box or a FIFA box.
Not even just the WNBA one. Maybe probably
Hmm.
for like FC 28 or 29,
Oh
hopefully.
yeah, FC 29. Yeah, who knows?
You
Hey,
know what?
that's crazy because 2029 is only 4 years away, guys. Like that's
Oh
wild.
yeah, then
Yeah.
that's the goal.
I've been noticing a lot like lately, like in your Instagram about like fitness and all that. And there's also like what I've been noticing like in the comment section as well on your page, Audrey, is that there's like one I think that said that you're an inspiration to her and like, she will want to be like a female ref. What would you say for these young females or for these young people who want to become a ref or want to be like you one day? What advice would you give them?
Oh, wow. That is such a great question. I personally think that it's a beautiful day to be a woman in sport always.
Nice.
Um, it is definitely difficult and it is challenging though. I think being a minority in any space that you are in, is definitely a challenge and it's gonna come with a lot of adversity and it's gonna come with a lot of being underestimated, being overlooked, people not thinking that you're qualified enough to do a certain job or to be in a certain room or that your opinion isn't valid enough or whatever that may be. But everyone has different talents, everybody has different perspectives. Sometimes it is about showing and broadcasting your best talents so much so that people have to notice them. The challenge is definitely worth the outcome. You do have to walk into a room and think that you are the baddest of the baddest. And you do have to act like have all the confidence in the world, even if you don't, because that's the only way that people are gonna take you seriously. And you do have to do your own research, your own studying, and you have to walk the walk as much as you talk the talk.
Wow. Such deep.
Dang, that's the title of yeah, that's the title of a book right there.
That's what I'm saying. That's so deep right there.
Yeah, I also wanted to add like also a big turning point I think was when it was all like women owners for Angel City, I believe it was. And all that for that when they were creating that team. And I think also the push that Alex Morgan and I believe oh I forgot her name, but she was like the top goal scorer in the World Cup, where like they pushed for equal pay for US and women's
Megan
men's team.
Rapinoe,
Yeah, Megan Pino, yeah. So I think those were also big moments too.
from a global standpoint, in terms of women in sport, of course, like the US women's national team is so popular for so many reasons, right? Like, of course, like the United States is pretty, I guess you could say, opportunistic, especially in terms of supporting women in sport. And Megan Rapinoe and Alex Morgan did not like take that they didn't take it lightly in terms of like we are going to get every single drop out of this that we possibly can. And it is because of women in sport like that. We now are starting to see even like a global impact on women in sport and in a good way too. Like now, like we have the Women's World Cup coming along and, more teams competing. And it's not just the United States winning anymore. And I think as much as the United States is a winningest country and very proud of their wins, I think it is healthy that we do have some competition in those spaces because that means that we are advancing as a whole globally, not just here in the United States where, like I said, it's very opportunistic and we do have those opportunities for certain women, but now it's starting to become a more global growth and impact.
But I think my favorite player from US Women's was Abby Wambach because like her performance like against Japan I think was crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was a time to be alive.
I'll never forget that header in the 121st minute against Japan,
I know
though.
that's all I was saying. It was crazy.
That was crazy. That was exactly insane. But not just Ambi Wambach though. Hope Solo though.
Mm.
Oh
Hope
yeah, yeah,
Solo.
she was crazy.
That was crazy for sure. So continuing on in this episode, everybody, we have Soccer World, of course, with our very special guest here, Audrie. We just want to say, of course, thank you for coming on. We're gonna continue as well with the Soccer World, and we only got one topic for Soccer World since we're not gonna get to everything. The Spanish Super Cup between the legendary rivals, Barcelona and Real
Mm.
Madrid. Barca just crushing completely, 5-2 against Madrid. I told you, Francisco, that Barca was gonna win.
Ah, no, I wasn't happy about that at all. Like we were winning. It started off perfectly, and then 5-2. Like that's insane. Like Audrey, I don't know if you go for any of those teams in specifically.
Funny enough, my dad is actually a huge Messi fan, so my dad kind of grew up
Ah,
like, hold on. My dad kind of grew up like huge Barcelona fan, right? And then he kind of
mm.
stopped watching it once Messi came to Miami, but my sister was a huge Real Madrid fan.
Ah,
So
let's go.
so growing up in a very interesting household when El Clásico came on. It
Mm,
was it was like a whole
mm.
holiday, right? Like, we'd set up it was like the Super Bowl, but like crazier. And the
Yeah.
arguments back and forth and the hanging of the jersey and like the oh, I told you so and everything. And it was awesome, right? Like that was truly like such a great rivalry to see between Messi and Ronaldo and always going back and forth with oh, but he has this, but he has that, but he has more Ballon d'Ors, but he has more champion, but he has more, he can score more, but Messi only scores in the box, but like,
Mm.
like those things, right? So no, I did hear about the recent loss for
Ah.
Real Madrid and how
Yeah,
bad
we
it
can just
was.
skip this. We can just skip this and go to the next thing.
I'm just
Yeah, we
celebrating
don't have to
the
talk about
victory.
this.
I'm just celebrating the victory because I'm
Mm.
a huge Messi follower. And if you guys know,
I don't
Messi,
know why.
unbeatable, my man. Unbeatable, bro. I mean,
Why are you a Messi follower? Something wrong with
okay,
you?
you want me to tell you why I'm a Messi follower? Ever
Mm.
since he came out of the Masia, I believe in 2005, when he came to the first
Mm.
team in Barcelona where Ronaldinho was there, and I remember vividly watching Ronaldinho. That's actually one of my idols though. Because ever since Messi played with Ronaldinho, like it was just they were unstoppable right there. And keep in mind
Mm.
that Messi was a young kid coming from, fíjate, the little boy from Rosario and Argentina. To go to Barcelona at 13 years old is crazily insane. How do you go, if you're a young kid from Rosario, Argentina, to go all the way into Barcelona at age 13? That's gotta be something. That's a prodigy right there. Look at Lamine Yamal
Mm.
at 17 years old, winning La Euro with Spain, beating Real Madrid, I think, twice now, and winning his first ever trophy against Los Galácticos like that. So you
Mm.
can see how youngsters are pulling up. We have youngsters, of course, like for the Mexican national team, right? Because you have these academies, but I would have to say it's not the same as how it is in Europe for sure. I mean, of course, like you have the academies here in the United States, you have the academies in Mexico, Canada, and everywhere else. But to me, nothing compares more the academies in Europe than the ones here locally because they want more. They want like structure. They want obviously there's more money involved, but there's like more to it for sure. I don't know if any of you guys agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. La Masia is a really good academy and it produces really good players. But I just went for Real Madrid because of Raul and play from Spain and I really enjoyed him and like Hugo Sanchez and just like the history overall I think is really cool. I do like is there like also a Liga MX team that you support?
To be honest, not really.
Ah.
Sorry. I don't, like I said,
Mm.
I'm a huge follower of sports, but not specific leagues for that matter, or like I'm not like a diehard fan for any specific team.
Do you know if there's someone in your family who goes for a specific team?
I know for sure my grandfather he was a huge Chivas fan, for sure.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Okay, that's good. Yeah,
Um
well, good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's good you didn't say America.
When it comes,
Yeah, no, not America.
okay, good.
Mm.
Because when it comes to America, oh my goodness, the level of
Yeah, that's
controversial
crazy.
moments, the level of wildness over there, And not to be hating with those Americanistas, but come on now. Did America really deserve the tricampeonato?
That's what I'm saying. Did Barca deserve this cup?
No, no, that's a whole different stuff. No, no, no.
That's
Don't compare that with my Barcelona, okay?
that's what I'm saying.
No, 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 because I feel like America is like the same thing with Madrid, though, that they would buy refs and all that.
Uh,
But that's just me. That's just me, though.
Oh my gosh.
We've been having like this competition, Audrey, and it's a friendly competition, trust me. But we've just
mhm.
been going back and forth. He's a Madrid fan, I'm a Barca fan. He's a Monterrey fan, I'm a Pachuca fan. Like we're just going back and forth, back and forth. But it's a great time though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Seems like it.
Ay, Dios mío, ay, Dios mío. But yeah, that was pretty much all for Soccer World, you guys. Since we're not gonna get into anything else besides that, well, we will talk about actually the NFL playoffs coming up this. But yeah, by the time this episode gets published and stuff, the week we'll see. I will see exactly what day I'm gonna be able to publish it. But yeah, but speaking of the NFL playoffs, Francisco, I feel like the Lions are gonna take it this season.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. I think they've had a really good season. But like I talked to someone yesterday when I was actually like covering a game because I also work as a sports journalist and I was covering a game for them. I was telling them I also think Kansas City Chiefs are going to win it, but they want that to be over. But I've been telling Audrey that I feel like it's a Taylor Swift effect, where they're just gonna keep winning. I don't know if you think that.
Swifties, it's the Swifties.
It's the
Yeah,
Swifties.
are you a Swift? Are you a Swiftie, Audrey?
I'm not a Swiftie. Now, I absolutely understand the legacy that Taylor Swift has had, and I absolutely respect it. I'm all here for I am supporting from the sidelines for sure, but I myself, I'm not a diehard Swiftie. She has some bangers. She's a legendary artist. I will give her that. But I am not like a huge Taylor Swift fan or any of the sort.
I think we were all Swifties at one point.
You're a Swiftie, aren't you?
No, I'm just saying we were all Swifties at one point. Like I have a lot of her songs, but I'm not a Swiftie. Like I don't go crazy at concerts. Like I've never been to one of her concerts.
But you have her songs though, like you have your favorite songs and everything.
Yeah, yeah, but you don't have a favorite song for her?
I
No.
feel like
Oh, what?
everyone has to have a favorite song by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You're Swiftie at some point.
Like don't tell me like you didn't play like 22 when you turned 22.
Oh
Like
no. 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 I will say
or
though,
you didn't put Shake It Off when you went to a party.
I will say though, the one song that I will definitely keep in mind for sure is Blank Space. But I think
Oh
another song
yeah.
for sure, for sure, for sure would have I don't remember what song it is, but I do remember it came from the Hannah Montana movie when she started out as a country singer. But those I would have to say those were like the best moments before she even got into like, pop music and all that. We have moved on, ladies and gentlemen, to the last ever segment. Francisco, you know this very well. It is our final reflection, and I want to dedicate this final reflection not only just to motivate, inspire, and do like a little tech talk, but over this past week, and everybody I think knows, but if not, that's okay. The wildfires that happened in LA, the amount of people that lost their homes, lost pretty much everything is devastating to see. Thank goodness that Audrey is not in LA, she's in the Bay Area. But
Bay
we just want to
Area.
it's a sad time, especially for the victims that lost pretty much everything. It's just devastating and sad to see that with these wildfires going on in Los Angeles, like it's just so painful to see like the many people that are affected by this. And I want to dedicate this final reflection to them. Really devastating to see that, for people that lost everything. And I think I remember Carlos Vela lost his stuff. There were like a bunch of celebrities that lost everything. I think Mandy Moore, I think, was one of them. We just want to like say that we're here. I know that, people are donating as well just to like contribute and all that. But we just want to tell you guys that we are here for you no matter what. And on the next chapter of Sports Podcast, we are here from Chicago to say Chicago is with you, all the suburbs of Illinois is with you, and basically everyone is here with you.
Yeah, I also feel that a lot. Like I really want to show support and all my like condolences for people who lost all their homes and everything they had, and really to shed light on that. Like I know, like I'm really proud. Like I think a viral video. I think it went viral where Mexicano firefighters, I think it was, like took a charter plane and like really helping out the community when they need it. And in such a place like LA where a lot of Mexicanos are there. Sad time right now, but I know a lot of people are helping out. Like I know there's like content creators that I follow who haven't posted anything, and I just see in their posts out there they're helping out and trying to also donate a lot of money to help them. So to help the other people who lost their lives so they can rebuild. So yeah, just giving all my support and prayers so they can go through this quickly and get back to their lives and get back to enjoying life and not just going through tragedies like these.
Definitely here in California, it's been a struggle to see a lot of people who are in LA, a lot of people who are in the Bay who have family out there, you know, like beyond celebrities and everything in between. I think it hits a little bit more closer to home whenever you think about, you know, average people like us who, if we did have family out there, like how painful that would be, right? Like, unfortunately, not a lot of people get to have the luxury of just saying, oh, well, you know, that was like one of my homes, and, you know, I have another one in New York or I have another one elsewhere or whatever that may be, right? Like, some people have spent their entire lives in that home, and unfortunately, it has gone through the wildfires and destruction of that. And I think that's mostly kind of like the sad part, right? I actually came across a post right before we kind of hopped on here. Funny enough, and how it kind of like all correlates. Bay FC and the Golden State Valkyries are doing a donation drive and sending certain things over to a lot of different groups and charities and stuff in the LA area. They have different kind of sites that you can donate, you know, things like toothbrushes and socks and different clothing and even like non-perishable items and stuff. All of those things, they have different places to drop those things off. So I will definitely be looking through a lot of my things that I have that I can donate and sending those over because there's a donation center literally right down the street from me. Bay is definitely with LA in this space, and you know, at the end of the day, we're here living in California together, sharing a beautiful, very privileged state. Yeah, it's pretty much just saying that like the Bay is definitely supporting LA.
Audrey, I am so honored and thankful for you for coming on the Next Chapter of Sports podcast. Hope you really enjoyed our time, like speaking, like, you know, the ref experience, fitness, and all that. And I hope you really had a great time. Thank goodness that you're not here in Chicago because Chicago cold, I can't even take it anymore, Francisco. The Chicago cold is killing me.
Now you just go down to the nearest panaderia and get a conchita and chocolate caliente and you'll be good. Or a tamale, or a chata, that's also
Or
good too.
anything like that. But yeah, how did it feel to be on this podcast, Audrey?
Oh, it was absolutely great. I enjoyed myself so much. Literally turned my entire day around. Just super happy to have been here, super honored. I really enjoy doing stuff like this. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to speak a little bit on my experience and different things that I've been through and gone through and just allowing me to, you know, be a voice for those who haven't been yet. Yeah, thank you so much for having me and inviting me on the show.
Hopefully you get to come back another time for sure. We really want you to come back on for sure because the World Cup is coming up next year, and man, oh man, that's gonna be big. And if we get to go to a World Cup, Francisco, just know that we're gonna be creating content for the podcast.
And then we're gonna see Audrey refereeing at one of the games.
I actually want to see her refereeing a game. That's what I want to see.
It's kind of cool. Maybe if and when I get some kind of like live stream link, I'll send it over and let you know.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Next Chapter of Sports podcast. Our very first episode being visual. This is me. This is the Augie way. I have the Chicago Bulls shirt. It's not sponsored, but let's go Bulls for sure. Francisco is always on the other side, my man.
Yeah, it's always a privilege to be here. I don't got any jerseys. I just got a formal shirt. Yeah, I'm just always excited to be here and always excited to be a co-host with my boy Augie. Always excited to have incredible guests like Audrey and be talking about sports and inspiring and also to help different people and all the struggles they're having. And yeah, just excited to be here and excited for every episode we have.
Mis hermanos latinos, muchísimas gracias como siempre de estar aquí en el próximo capítulo de deportes y van a ver que vamos a seguir dándole más y más y más para ir hacia arriba. Así que thank you guys so much. We will see you guys next time. And remember that the next chapter of sports will live on today, tomorrow and forever. Y recuerden que el próximo capítulo de deportes seguirá hoy, mañana y siempre. Thank you guys so much. We will see you guys next time here on the Next Chapter of Sports podcast.
Nos vemos.